All right, Bread and Circuses. This is Nick, Caleb, and our guest
Dion Cobbs. What's up?
All right,
What's up, guys?
We got a fucking awesome show for you guys today. We got Dion here. Tell us what's going on, man.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just here to talk about some music, some crazy shit that I've been just in my life, things that how weird I am, my thoughts and opinions. I've always wanted to be on a podcast, so this is gonna be pretty dope.
Man.
So I think it's gonna be a good time. I'm excited.
When did you start making music?
When did I start making music? Well, I started writing words down and thought it was cool, like at a young age. My older brother actually raps. His name is Johnny Rain. Check him out. AJANI Rain. Y'all can spell that. Yeah. So I was always inspired by that. And then one time I remember specifically in the 7th grade, I was kind of a dick. And there was this girl, I was one of those dudes who joke like girls, it's kind of fucked up, self-esteem issues. I've grown.
Hey,
but I still do that.
Well, if you don't look back on yourself as you were as a person in 7th grade and be completely cringed out,
exactly.
You haven't grown enough.
That's the problem. I was I've done some questionable shit.
Yeah.
But I remember in math class, it was 7th grade, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna write this girl a poem because I thought that shit was funny. And I kind of did it, dabbled with it. And then I wrote it and I showed everyone. They were like, oh, that was dope. And then I read it in front of her and she was pissed and she was like, fuck you, Dylan.
Oh, man.
I'm like, yeah.
Dude, that's something that's completely underrated is being able to write stuff.
I'm like,
dude.
special. I'm like, I put some effort in that.
That's the thing, man. Everybody sends these girls these people break up through text message now. We don't do it through writing a letter goes a long fucking way.
Instead of eating my lunch, I was eating my feelings for this girl.
And the 7th grade.
So yeah, people really just they really then after that I was kind of known for writing the poems, and people would be like, hey, do you even do stuff? And I remember one time in the 8th grade, we evolved, after that.
Of course.
A whole nother beast, man.
And I was in English class and we had to write this poem about Anne Frank. And I remember I wrote mine. I was I was always excited to do the poetry in class.
Yeah.
And stuff, And this girl, we read them out loud, and this girl read her poem. And I thought it was fire. I was like, damn, this shit got bars. Wow, that was dope. And then, so I was self-conscious about it. And then I read my poem, and then people clapped for me. And
really?
And the teacher was like, hey, can I keep yours for an example? And I was like, oh,
oh shit.
So after that, my friends just kind of encouraged me to write. And then a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I was like, what, I got a product, maybe people will buy it. And, maybe I should actually try it instead of just not caring. And, maybe I should put some effort into it.
Yeah. And I listened to your song on Spotify. Is that your only one you got out?
That's the only one I have out right now, and we'll talk about why that is. But
you guys should really go check that out because it's not just your a typical SoundCloud rapper guy going out and making it's seriously, it sounds like a very professionally produced. It's a real song, man.
It's called Niggas Ain't Shit, NAS for my non-colored people. We try to make it friendly for everyone. By Dion Cobbs on all platforms, Tidal, Amazon Music, fucking Napster.
Napster.
Keep me on Napster.
Yeah.
I'm a Napster rapper.
Why are we not on Napster?
Good question.
No, I got you. I'm the plug. I can get you guys hooked up with that.
Oh, good.
Good. But so that was my first song I put out, and it's basically. So what inspired me to write the song is I was with my sister in the car, and we were listening to a YG song. Yeah. And this dude was going off on some women, like bitches, hoes, and it's usually I'm like, hell yeah, But I was with my sister in the car, and I'm just and she's singing along, and I'm just but you don't like this type of dude, what the fuck, why, and then I'm this is kind of I think it's kind of interesting how you can say something that people really just really don't like at their core, to their values and their moral system. But when you package it in a way that makes it upbeat or sound cool, they just eat it up.
Yeah, man. Look at heavy death metal talking about eating children and putting people off the stage.
Yeah. And people just love it. And I always felt because typically my normal stuff is fairly complicated. You have to read it a couple times. I put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah.
And I'm maybe if I want to try that out. And it's just kind of me just saying some shit that's I just want some pussy, fam. Keep that shit to yourself. And it's actually when and it sounds cool. It's hey, it's fun. But when you listen to it, it's I start off your stature is your status, what you worth. That sounds, people are ooh, bars. I'm but that's kind of fucked up.
It is.
It's to it.
I've just always wondered why bashing women has gotten so popular in music. It's kind of
Well, I don't think it's necessarily bashing women. I think it's like doing like what the bros do, sit around and just bash their bodies.
That's
man.
true.
That's like what it is.
I talked to one of my female friends who just got dumped last week, and I told her, I'm like, look, 85% of men are scum. That's not saying that 85% of men are solid scum. Like, we alternate. Like, we've all been scum at one point.
Yeah.
Then we get our hearts broken. We become scum, and then we re-enter the 15%. And it cycles. Like, that's what I was trying to explain to her. But I was like, yeah, I was scum like a month ago. But
oh yeah,
like was scum 2 days ago. Don't even go there.
I think like it might be safe for the women out there who are looking around for guys to just automatically assume that any guys that are scum and then scum until proven otherwise.
That's why I hate like that. This is my only song out right now because like when I tell people, like, especially girls, I'm like, hey, you should check out my song. And then it makes it hard because like there's some I want to work with too, like who like photographers and stuff. And I'm but I'm like, oh, check out my song, and then it's just like, oh, I just want some pussy, and then just like I'm like, oh,
why do you want to work with me?
I have to explain it to them. I give them the whole meening, like, oh, by the way, when I wrote this song, like, this is what happened,
You gotta get another song out there about sunsets on the beach
or
some shit.
We gotta do a love song.
I got some stuff in the vault, but like I have another song. So we're right now, we're in a creative collective, like a group. Mm-hmm. We're still working on the branding and everything. That's part of the reason why I haven't been releasing a ton of stuff, because you want to have a good foundation
right
before you start like saying, I'm this and that, and then you start changing stuff. But we're gonna do a group song. We have a video scheduled. We're gonna shoot it the first weekend in May.
Nice.
And the next song I just wrote it the other day. I just wrote it fucking around, putting on my Snapchat. It was just a little fun, like little beat. It's kind of like the same subject. It's kind of like the same shit.
That kind of stuff is just fun to like talk about.
It's fun. That's the thing about making music, and a lot of people give shit to mumble rappers, and I understand why. I think if you have a voice, you should use it to push something positive. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like as being an artist who does like to make serious stuff, that bullshit is fun.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a good time.
And I think it's like that with any medium, because I say, like, I love interviewing like famous people, and like we had Zoltan Isfan. He's relatively famous, right?
That was dope.
It was pretty cool.
That was dope.
But my favorite podcasts are bro downs. Like, we just get to fucking talk shit, tell war stories and stuff. Like, those are like, this girl I used to bully in high school. Like we did like the IHateKate.com.
Just talk a bunch of shit.
.net. That's
like
right.
It's fun to talk your shit sometimes.
Absolutely.
Like it's cool to be humble, but like like even Kendrick Lamar, he's obviously a dope ass rapper, but like he talks his shit. He
says a lot of shit.
He says,
a song called "Be Humble" though.
Yeah, but even then he's talking. He's talking
shit on there.
That's true.
Song, so.
That's true.
And part of the fear is like I make these songs too, and I'm still, because like I've been writing lyrics for a while, but there's a difference between being a good lyricist and being a good artist, and I'm really still even now like trying to find that artistic side of myself, because there's some talented ass people.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I hate when like you'll be talking to people and they'll be talking about modern rap music and how they'll be saying that none of it's deep or anything like that.
A lot of it is. They're just not deep.
Yeah, they're not.
That's what it is.
You got to go find that.
It's
stuff.
crazy.
It's out there,
and especially like the older generation, because like they'll listen to someone like Kendrick Lamar or like
J. Cole,
and they'll hear that they're cussing. They're so just like they're like, oh, he said the N-word, like. He ain't talking about shit, and it's like, no, you have to like peel back the layers, like the pain, there's emotion, like this is mental health, this is relationships, there's a whole bunch of stuff in this story that you just missed because he said fuck.
Right.
I'm just like, what? And that's what's like my part of my song is like, I'm saying I just want some pussy, but it's like there's a little bit more to it.
Well, I think that's a lot, but then to be fair, there are rappers out there like, and it's just like getting drunk, smoking weed.
Oh,
yeah. Pussy.
Oh, yeah.
That stuff is
that's every music.
Like, listen to
like Cardi.
Go listen to old fucking like Leonard Skinner or something like that.
Absolutely.
Just talking about getting drunk around a campfire.
Look at fucking Stadium Country.
Yeah.
The Bo Burnham stand up. It's like I write songs.
That stuff's all about driving around in your truck.
I found a fucking Spotify playlist called Pander and Country songs. I
feel like every genre has like that type of every genre and every era. People act like there weren't the Vanilla Ices.
Yeah.
Like people wouldn't have people just doing nonsense. You hear people echoing the same bullshit back then. Like they're like, why are people doing R&B? Like, why are you singing? You could be rapping. Like people were doing it in the 90s.
Yeah.
People act like now it's a whole new phenomenon. People weren't talking about anything. It's just keep going.
Yeah, because it's easy to say that kind of stuff Oh, I don't music because
No.
it honestly took me kind of a while to go out there and go find good rap music. And it wasn't just because I didn't like it. It's just I never found it. But the internet makes it so easy to find that stuff out there. Like, I think, man, there's so much music out there on the internet and so much good music to go listen
very
to.
saturated too.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing is like,
It is,
right now
yeah.
it's really easy to make music now.
Yes.
Like, cause like you just need a computer and a microphone, and people used to get auto-tune, and people do put like a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
And it spreads really fast. So like I see why it's easy to mix up the good with the bad, especially when the layer that you see might sound similar, like you know, the beat, the auto tune. But you know, so you might not give it that time.
When it came to your song, you actually like had that music that be produced and everything. Like there's a lot of guys that are out there making
They'll make beats.
They'll make like shitty beats like on GarageBand for themselves. And like, yeah.
And actually, I got that beat, that specific one from YouTube. But in my group, we do have 2 producers, and they're like hella crazy talented. Like I have one of them, like he can sample like anything, and he'll just turn it into some crazy shit. And then another producer, JP, he can do that too, but he can make any type of genre. Like he's like so multi-dimensional. Like he'll make like the J Dilla type beats. So he loves Sly and the Family Stone. Like he's just so diverse, and he's actually taught me so much in music and getting outside of that, like lyrics, just the lyrics aspect, and trying to make it more fun. Because that, you know, like at some like as people, like I said, they talk shit on the mumble rappers, right. But at the same time, I've seen people who try super hard to be lyrical, but like they're really not even saying anything.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
Well,
the mumble rappers have their place though. Like that's the thing is the mumble rappers have their place in rap music just as much as the punk rock rappers did in the 90s. Yeah,
like I'm a big Eminem fan, but. Or I mean, I was. I mean, right now, like, you know,
he's so cringy right now.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, I was a stan, but like his cringe.
It's like right, he's obsessed with Trump, and it's like, dude, like I don't like him either, but give it a fucking rest.
Get over it. Like, start rapping about meth again.
Yeah, for real.
Right. Don't talk about killing your wife again.
It's like, dude, I can't take it anymore, and that's sad to say because I used to be like, I was in denial for the longest time. I was like, no, that was hard. Like, you know that meme with the face with the dude's crying, but the smiley face.
Yeah.
That was me. I'm like, oh, I love Recovery. It's fucking great.
Recovery was where it fell apart. That was for Eminem. It was after that. The one after that, what Marshall Mathers 2, that one wasn't terrible, but it was
too experimental for my taste, especially for a sequel for an iconic album. Like,
that's true.
To me, Marshall Mathers LP, that's like my favorite hip hop album of all time.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you went a little bit too far. Like, that's what I'm saying. As an artist, Eminem is just like, he can still rap, you know, he has lyrics and he can flow however the fuck he wants.
Well, I mean, he'd probably embarrass me. Of course, I don't know what the fuck
I don't know, dude. Honestly, like, I hear people who, at least as far as enjoyability to listen to, like, they started rapping yesterday, and I'm just like,
there's some guys out. I mean, you'll see them on like YouTube who can spit words super fast, but Eminem used to be like the guy who could do that but make it sound good.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's not about what you're saying, it's about how you're relaying the message. Like, does it have a meaning to it? That's always what it's been about. Like, you can know all this shit, but if you can't fucking put it into words that people can understand, then it's worthless.
And also make it sound like upbeat and like something that people actually want to listen to.
Yeah, I like his slower stuff more. Like, the fast stuff sounds cool, but like, even his, like, there's so much that goes into music, like voice tone especially. I miss his old like voice, like that shit. I heard that, I'm just like I get goosebumps. But now
you're talking about like from like first album.
Yeah, I'm like 97 and 99. Yeah, like, that's my favorite era of Eminem.
It's all that math that changed his voice.
Well, you know, it goes to say he did get a lot. Like, his career started to go downhill once he got off drugs.
It did, and that's so sad.
It is. It's sad because it's like, for him that's better because, like, obviously he was gonna die if he didn't stop.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, I think that goes with a lot of artists. I mean, look at all their like 90s and early 2000s like rock bands. They're all sober and found Jesus. So like the fucking tour buses must be really boring. They're just sitting around playing.
How many of those like 80s rock groups were just like fucking hyped up on booze and cocaine?
Oh god, they're all on coke.
Like at all times.
Honestly, I've tried to make music like drunk. I don't know how people do that shit.
Well, drunk's probably a little different because I think drugs stimulate your brain. They're more of an upper and alcohol's a downer. So I don't think it works quite the same. So you're not thinking as clearly. Whereas like I've heard like, you know, like the Beatles, they wrote all their shit on acid. Right. But
at a certain point they did. Like they definitely wrote all of Sgt. Pepper's.
Oh yeah.
On acid.
Yeah, that was all on acid. Well, then what's his, well, that's what the fucking, the Silicon Valley execs, they're all microdosing acid now. So they'll cut like an acid tab into like fourths, and they'll take one a day.
What?
And like supposedly, like I've never done acid.
Well, the creative process is kind of difficult. Like for you, when you write like, what is it like for you?
For
when
me,
you are sitting there writing
I am
a song?
not gonna lie. It is a pain in the ass.
Yeah. What is it like? What is like scratch from
like for
one?
me? It really depends. So like typically when you're just sitting there writing, like you're like, okay, you're trying to beat, you're like, I'm gonna write a song. Like that's the toughest part.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like you're really putting yourself in a lane, and like, and if you listen to my stuff, especially the more complicated stuff, you'll see that I'm like very detail oriented. Like, okay, I wanted to have this type of flow. This has to have this rhyme scheme, and to an extent that can come to my detriment because like I'll be stuck. Like, oh, I have to use this rhyme. It's like, well, damn, like maybe I should just like switch it up.
Yeah.
You know, go a different flow. But so like usually I get the most natural creative flowing when I'm driving. And
driving is almost like meditative.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's like you're present, but you're not. And that way, like, because you can drive and not pay attention, but still be paying attention.
Right.
So, but I feel like that alleviates the other distractions that might be coming up in your mind too. So that way you just have the beat and the driving, because like you
so you drive to your beat?
Yeah, like so
cool.
I'll be driving like and turn on, and I'll just be like freestyling, and that's why I like to be alone because like I'll just start saying some stupid bullshit, and I don't have to be self-conscious about it, and then I can develop it.
I think everybody is like that a little bit, where they drive, they just kind of let their mind wander a little bit. I've had some great epiphanies while driving.
I have the most inspiring thoughts when I'm driving. I'm just like, where the fuck
for sure
did that come from?
You ain't got anything else to do. I mean, what do you pay attention like 100%? Get pissed off?
Fuck at, that, man! Like, what am I? Yeah, like I got to pay attention to my phone when I'm driving.
I noticed for the longest time, like I don't know what it was, but like I just like. After I graduated, I feel like I just got super introspective and started just like analyzing just who I was. And I would just get in my car for like, I feel like this was like months, and I wouldn't even listen to music. I didn't even notice. I just be driving and just be.
It's just shit's.
And I'm just thinking the whole time, and like not a song. I didn't work. I didn't write anything. I was sitting there and I would just think.
There's something to be said about
to stimulate your brain like that.
Yeah, silence should just let your brain just kind of all the neurons fire off.
I do try to because I try to like I've had a lot more creative shit for this show, for other stuff. Like I'll meditate 10 minutes a day. I'll just chill like first thing in the morning before I go to bed, whatever. I'll just sit there for 10 minutes, just silent. I don't do that or nothing, but it does help a lot, and I think it helps with stress and everything. I think people become a lot.
Yeah, they actually treat PTSD with they try to get you to meditate because because when they say with PTSD, what actually happens is that amount of stress like in your brain and your blood and everything will actually physically change the part in your brain that I don't remember the part of it, but it makes it bigger. Right.
Really?
So
like the amygdala or something?
Whatever part of it. Yeah. It's an actual structure deep within your brain that it physically changes and gets bigger and more powerful. So that's why you're stressed out all the time, can't sleep. That fight or flight's like always on. So what meditation will actually do is when you'll sit there and you just, focus on your breathing, and literally meditation is just actively trying to think about nothing.
I've tried it before, and it's tough. And you don't realize that, because when you do that, you realize how intrusive your thoughts are.
Yeah,
because you'll be sitting there like, okay, I'm not going to think about anything,
completely,
and then something, and it's like you almost can see it. It's like a thought. It's like an empty and the thought just like pops up.
Yeah, I know.
And that's where you'll get those epiphanies, but for sure, because what meditation is doing is essentially putting a wall up and trying to like knock those intrusive thoughts out.
And you realize how useless some of them are.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
And you can't chase them. And then and you realize like you really are every day you're chasing thoughts that you don't. And
I'm always chasing thoughts.
And I love that you brought up the structure thing, because I feel like just is on the subject of mental illness. I feel like people don't see mental illness as a physical problem. When it is.
100%. They think it's like a personality.
Yeah, and it's like they really think that like they are mentally stronger or whatever, because that's just how they are, because they want to be. When the thing you're talking about, which might be the amygdala, I don't know. I know that has to do with fear in the brain. But say that someone has an enlarged amygdala and they're always heightened on fear, you can't see that. But that to you that comes off, oh, you're weak, or you're soft, or you're crazy or something. And I feel like if people spoke in terms as more of the physical things, people would understand more like, oh, my levels are off, instead of, oh, I'm sad.
Yeah. And their strategies too, to actually, like in case of like the enlarged amygdala, which that can happen just from somebody getting into a car accident. Something just is
the brain's weird, man.
Yeah, it is.
I saw this study the other day. It was talking about how like female orgasms release these weird chemicals in the brain that attach them to the guy, whereas the guy doesn't have that happen because it's like goes back to like the caveman days. Because it's like, okay, I'm gonna get called a fucking sexist for this, but when men bust a nut, that's a survival thing. Like we have to do it to survive. That's how we've survived throughout history. Females, it's a pleasure thing. They don't have to get off. You know what I mean? So when they do, it's like a dopamine thing, and they become like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I feel that. That makes a lot of sense.
Definitely true.
Yeah, had the post-nut clarity.
That's crazy, dude. It's true though. The post-nut clarity. Whenever I have a guy friend that's like struggling, he's like on something, I'll be like, "Well, did you bust a nut?"
And go jerk off before
have you tried to make music after busting?
You should.
I don't think so.
But it's like
I would think that would be the
sense,
opposite
though.
because it's getting rid of all that passion and everything that you.
No,
actually
dude. There's
made.
blockage. There's blockage in your head, and
I feel
it's
that.
seriously every dude I know. It's tried it. It gets rid of their
I don't think music is 100% logic though. Like music has to have some of that like bullshit non-clarity.
Yeah,
like
there are times where like when I'm just like stressed and pissed off. And it's been lately, and you'll see when I drop some shit because like I just like a lot of aggressive like type stuff.
Well, sometimes
I'm just like fuck.
Sometimes the best art does come from being in a really dark place, though. I know, like that was when I was going through some shit a couple months ago. That was my best outlet, was to fucking make videos for the Douchebag Foundation. But I'm thankful for it because like it really helped me get some shit out there, and you know I would take subtle shots at the situations going on in my life that some people may or may not have been able to pay attention to, and that's really cool about music. I mean, you can put your outlet without dropping anybody's name in it.
I feel like music is almost like the sound of emotions.
Oh,
definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
There are artists I hear, and like Isaiah Rashad, for instance. Isaiah Rashad, if you ever see this, my guy. But like I listen to a song and I feel whatever the fuck he is feeling,
right,
instantly, and that's what I really want. Like that's what I really want to work on myself. Like I have songs that have really deep, like cool lyrics, but like I know that people are gonna feel like the way I'm. Like it's fucking insane.
Yeah, it goes like crazy. It's like the different emotions. Like you can go listen to like some happy pop music, and you're like, oh, right, cool, man. Yeah. And then you go listen to like some like Rage Against the Machine. You just want to go.
You want to go fight somebody.
I feel like I have burn the Capitol building songs that have like actually like molded me like as a person. Like if I didn't listen to this song, like No Apologies by Eminem. Like I feel like if I did not listen to that song, like I wouldn't be who I am today. Because I remember just in my kitchen, like 14 years old, just on repeat, like this, like, and now it's just like, dude, fuck everybody. You know, if someone has a problem with you, that's their problem. You know, and I really adopted that. And I think I got it from that.
And songs are weird like that too, because it's crazy how you associate songs with people or with times in your life.
Yeah,
like there's certain songs like you just won't listen to anymore because you associate them with a person that you don't see or whatever the case may be, or a really dark time in your life. I've always subscribed to the ideology that I just play the songs over and over again until they don't mean anything.
Yeah, that's what I do.
That's what I do with Jamie All Over by Mayday Parade. But that's the emo kid in me.
I can like always attribute like listening to like really hard heavy metal music to like lifting weights for football when I was in high school. Like, it'll always bring me back to that time as being like carefree high school kid.
Definitely.
Just like a bunch of your bros.
Which it's important because I'm trying. My little brother's 10 and he plays basketball.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to get him on that now because like I feel like there's certain things you can do to almost like in a ritual way to get yourself pumped up. You know, so that way you have when you're going into the game, you know you're gonna have that good feeling.
Definitely.
And so when I'm going with him to my parents in the game, this was more in the Christmas time. They're playing Christmas songs before the game, and I'm just like thinking, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
you know, like this got me wanting to go to sleep. So we went to work out the other day, and it was censored, mom and dad, and like chill. But I was bumping Schoolboy Q like gangsta, and like I don't want them to like. I'll be like, why you haven't listening to all this stuff, like this bad stuff? I'm like, one, he don't know what they talking about, but that vibe is there. Like, you feel it pumped up. And now he went. I didn't even tell him the songs. He's like, I went and found those songs. he's like, I got the censored ones though. But he's like, I like those songs.
The censored ones.
I'm like, I'm putting you on game, bro. Like You need that.
I've always loved how people like they just want to blame music for like being a negative influence. I'm like they'll blame rap music for. I'm like, dude, like if your kid can be influenced to go join a gang because he listened to a fucking Future song, then maybe you should take a look at like how, you know what I mean, like how you're
like what are you doing?
They blamed Marilyn Manson for Columbine. It goes way
a
back.
lot of dumb shit
I mean,
for those. They used to blame Dungeons and Dragons for Columbine, man. Yeah.
Okay. To be fair though, I can blame bro country music for jackasses that drive like $900 $5,000 lift kits.
I think those just kind of go along with each other. I don't know if any
correlation.
Correlation does not necessarily mean causation, but they definitely are correlated.
God, those fuckers always make me nervous because it's some jackass 22-year-old that's like. He's got to prove something because his dick's so small, and he'll try and run you off the road or something like that. I'm like, bro, if you run me off the road, like I'm just gonna shoot.
Dude,
you.
I get that more from like middle-aged and older white guys driving around in like the parking lot at high speed.
During that blizzard we had like a month or two ago, like I had to work for some reason. Like they decided, like everyone was canceling work, like everything was shut down. But they decided, oh no, you guys can still go to work. And then 4 hours into it, during the middle of the blizzard, they're like, oh, you guys can go home.
Oh, thanks.
So I'm like, oh, dope. Like I have to drive fucking 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And fucking, I'm driving slow as shit because like I can't see a damn thing. And some yeehaw motherfuckers behind me, fucking like honking at me. I'm driving in the middle of the street. I'm like, dude, like I don't want to crash. Like suck my ass, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I don't care if like I'm going too slow for you. Like get off my dick.
That's why I wouldn't put that bumper sticker on until the snow's melted.
The slow drivers don't deserve human rights.
It was bad. Like slow drivers pissed me off, but I could not see.
Well, that's different. I mean, it's like, when it's 65 in March and somebody's going 25 and a 40, then they need to be thrown in prison. But I mean, snowstorms are special circumstances.
Yeah, that's the worst.
I feel like the guys that get mad at you for driving slow in a snowstorm are like the reverse of the guys. They're the jackasses. Like, bro, I'm not crashing so you can get to fucking bag and save
like,
for a beer.
Like, I don't know what kind of daddy issues you have.
Yeah,
right. Pop off, bro. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, I'm trying to be safe, like, not impress you.
Right.
Because I started thinking that's the thing, like, sometimes I question myself. I'm like, maybe I am driving too slow. I'm like, no. And then that no apologies by Eminem comes like, fuck this guy, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
I had a moment of weakness. Fuck you.
I don't flip people off in traffic anymore. What I do when they piss me off is I'll pull up next to them and I shake my head like a disappointed parent. They get so mad. This guy in a truck was like pointing to the side of the road. He wanted me to get off and fight him.
Dude, the Midwest is weird, man, because honking the horn in traffic has power in the Midwest.
Words.
It has power in the Midwest still because people don't use it very much.
Dude, it's true. They know.
Yeah, like just for everybody, man. You drive around on like the little like drive around streets here and you honk a horn and somebody honks your horn at you and you're like, oh, bro, am I fucking up right now?
Dude, I went to Florida and in Miami specifically. Them motherfuckers be honking the horns every second. It was crazy.
Yeah. It's like New York.
Everything was like, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah,
like,
somebody's not like crossing the road fast enough. Somebody's crossing the road like too fast.
It was like the meme of the fucking trip. We're just like, oh, there's another fucking horn. Then we got back to Omaha. We're just like, it's so quiet.
Yeah. like you honk a horn at somebody in traffic, you might as well be like fucking mooning them.
That shit means something.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of that, I think it's one thing I like I said, I always want to have a podcast. One thing I always want to talk about. I think it's just so crazy how people attribute major things to minute things, that to be, say it vaguely, but like for a realistic topic that was a issue like last year, the whole kneeling during the national anthem thing, we get controversial.
Yeah,
right.
No, this is the place to talk about that.
Like I said, just nothing's gonna get us sued, and no kid fucking shit.
What's the NFL gonna sue us for talking about it? They can bite my
ass. I heard, I'm gonna hurt some feelings here, and the thing is, I'm one of those people, and this is why I always fuck with Caleb, because I see his Facebook post, and I'm like, I've never agreed with someone so much. Like, I'm just like, dude, I agree. Like, yes, like, why is everyone else so fucking stupid? Like, what the fuck? But,
what can I say?
Like, people, so like the whole anthem thing, like I feel like, a lot of the things that we believe, we're human. We made them up. Mm-hmm. So like, right or wrong to me, if I'm mostly pretty nihilistic, like there's non-existent. So I can see why both people might could be right in their own way,
Right.
depending on how you look at it.
Right.
Yeah,
Because
it's
if you
perception's reality.
you want people to stand up because you go and you see hardworking people who fight for their life, and you don't want to get disrespected. That makes sense.
I'll say this as somebody like me and Zach, both United States Army, dude.
Mhm.
I like personally did not care if somebody was kneeling on the anthem.
No.
I like personally just don't like when people are like, oh, you can't do this because you hate the veterans. It's like, bro,
No.
the veterans are people. Like, we have our own thoughts about this. Most of the veterans, like, that I knew personally, and like my friends were just like, dude, stop using us as like a victim complex. We're not
Right.
fucking victims, dude.
Well,
we
that's
wanted to,
always some dependent that I would say.
yeah, or somebody that has like no connection.
Somebody
to
that's
the-
that's
Yeah.
what's always because all the people you see. Oh, we need to bring back the draft to toughen these snowflakes
Yeah.
up. It's always either women who don't have to register for the draft, or like people that are like 47. So it's
Well,
like
women
you're
have
not
to
going to
register
get
for the
drafted.
draft
Yeah,
now. They have to register for
Oh,
the
yeah,
draft
women
now.
do. That's
Equality,
right.
baby.
yeah, and they're mad. They're really mad.
But that's what
these days.
pisses me off though, because the thing that pisses me off is so you have the people who kneel and people who don't, but they get pissed off that you're kneeling, right? But
Mhm.
other than standing up for that song, what are you doing? I mean, I'm sure there's people who are,
Right.
right? And it goes for the other side of the coin. There's people who kneel because they want to protest injustice. Outside of kneeling, what else are you doing?
Right.
So then you have two people who really aren't doing shit, but are arguing and having these huge divisive topics instead of fixing it.
What would you rather they do? Kneel during the anthem to make a statement, or like riot in Baltimore? And
Right.
Shores?
Yeah,
I would-
that's what-
exactly.
I'd
That's a
much
peaceful
rather people
protest.
kneel
Yes,
during
that
the
have them like let them protest peacefully, and especially when they're like, okay, dude, like it's not about the veterans. Especially when they
Yes.
explicitly state, because when
Right.
people, especially now, like when they're offended about something, they're going to tell you exactly what it's about.
Mhm.
So like, why are you trying to? I don't see why they try to spin the narrative just so they can be offended.
We
Yeah,
have this. The U.S. is weird though because we have this weird, almost religion where we worship all things patriotic.
Yeah.
It is though. It's like
Yeah, nationalism.
nationalism. Like we worship them, and like don't get me wrong, I respect the military and what they've done, but like we worship the military. It's like if you're even remotely critical of the flag, or the military, anything, you're looked at as a bad person. And it's like for a while,
I would
mean,
say I'd consider disrespectful as wearing a fucking underwear with the American
right.
flag.
You see those guys that have
People
the
doing it.
American flag cut off, and he's like
Nasty
400
sack rubbing all
pounds.
over our
Yeah,
stripes and stuff. It's like you haven't shaved in 4 years, bro. Get the fuck
Yeah.
away from that.
But yeah, there's like this weird religion toward the state. You know, why do we play like did anyone ever ask why do we play the national anthem before a fucking football game? Like why? It's like
You want the real reason?
why?
Because
Well, they
the
pay 'em.
government paid
The
them to
government,
start
well,
doing
the
it.
NFL. But if you go to the Omaha Beef indoor football game with 250 people in the crowd, they still sing it.
I don't. It doesn't
Because,
bug
well,
me.
It became a cultural thing after the government. It was successful propaganda. They got the major leagues to start doing it, and then it went everywhere after
And
that.
I've always thought this was weird, like low key ever since I think it was the 5th grade. I think that's when they were like, all right, because we used to have to say the Pledge of Allegiance just on Mondays,
Right.
and then we had to do it every day.
Every
and
day,
eventually,
yeah.
I just stopped doing it.
Right.
And like I remember my teachers would get mad at me, and I'm like, bitch, this is a pledge.
What do you not trust me?
I did it already like 1,000 times. Like you don't go and sign a contract for a car every single day. And I would say that, and it's crazy because like in hindsight, and I'm like, I was like 10. And I'm just like, why does a 10-year-old get this shit?
Yeah.
Right.
Like why did I come to this conclusion?
Right.
Yeah, it's. I wouldn't.
Sorry.
Like I'm 100% like I think it's cool that they sing the national anthem
Mhm.
like before games, because there have been some people that have gone and sung that like before a big game that dude like legit have sing it so beautifully.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
You remember back when the Boston bombing happened, right?
Yeah, those
then
are
this-
iconic moments. Like
the-
stuff like that, like
yeah,
at the Celtics
yeah.
game
This-
and
well,
the
not- or
Red Sox
Bruin-
game.
It was
Yeah.
the Bruins game.
Okay,
man.
yeah.
The guy, for the Bruins, for the NHL, they always have had the same guy that's always sung the songs there
Mhm.
at the Garden every time. It's,
Right.
and he goes out in like a tuxedo and everything.
Yeah.
I forget his name, but he's always done it, right? It's like
Right.
a tradition. He goes out there and starts singing the national anthem, but he gets the whole like garden, the whole garden in there sings it, the national anthem. And I was like, man, that is like a moment of like solidarity and
Yeah,
unity that is very rare,
Which is
here.
nice. It's
Yeah.
beautiful, like because I make music, so like I think it's beautiful to have like to have so many people moved by a song,
Yeah,
and to want to stand
absolutely.
for something and something good, outside of the other bullshit. But at the same time, it's like, and I love how I even hate using terms like conservatives and liberals. I hate when people just describe people only in that
Yeah,
aspect.
just put it in the camps.
But
yeah.
when how conservative people will say call us, or like, because I'm more of a liberal person, but like snowflakes, but you're just as offended as I am.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're just as offended.
Like, but instead of offended, you're using disrespected.
Right.
They're synonymous. Basically,
right.
Their feelings are getting hurt, even though like I'm not necessarily doing anything. I'm not taking away. Like if I'm kneeling, I'm not taking away. Or when I was sitting down for the pledge, I say
the country's soldiers. I'll tell people are not their fucking country's government, man. That's where you like
right. Well, yeah, the soldiers aren't the government. I fucking hate the government, but I mean, you guys are normal people. I fucking go out and drink with you guys.
It goes back to like, and I know I'm going to be breaking that one internet rule about going back to the Nazis, right? But like when people like will describe like the German like military guys, like the normal military guys that were like drafted as Nazis, and it's like, well, they're not. That'd be like the same in all the guys that went over to Iraq during like the Bush era were all like fucking Republicans because they weren't.
Right. No.
It's just it'd be like the same thing as saying that because I mean there was a lot of people that did war crimes over there, man, like Abu Ghraib and stuff. But that wasn't the majority.
And people were really inconsistent in the belief that you can't judge someone based off one thing.
Yeah.
And it's super bad. Like there's people like you have to respect a veteran. But I remember sitting at a lunch table in high school and kids were going into the military talking about how they can't wait to murder Asian people.
Yeah.
So I'm just because you were rocking a uniform,
doesn't
mean
give you a
I'm going
to
just respect you because I'm going to assume you're this great patriot that wants the best for everybody.
Right. Yeah, we've talked about that before.
Protected classes, which I don't like protected class, but I don't like people being like safe from criticism at all.
The military doesn't have its shortage of shit bags either.
No, they don't, dude. I saw it firsthand. Yeah,
scumbags in the military. Like you said, like people that I just want to go kill some Koreans.
Yeah.
I want to go kill some towel heads.
I want to get a Corvette and kill people. I'm just like,
Corvette will happen.
It's Dodge Challenger.
And
that 25% interest rate is damn good.
Yeah.
And that girl that I married after 3 weeks that's 19 years old.
Works in the strip club?
Yeah.
I was noticing that. I was like, because I have some friends that are in the military, and I was like, damn, dude. Because they all seem older than me.
Yeah.
Because they're all married. So I just like assume they're older than me. And I'm like, damn, like
that's a discussion.
Married? And I was like, oh yeah.
That's a discussion in and of itself. But yeah, I guess
it is the truest stereotype ever are like privates in the army getting fucked over on muscle cars and marrying girls that they've known for like a month. Mm-hmm. It's like
it happens. I saw it happen a lot.
One of the guys in my group, he's married, but he's actually been with his girlfriend since they were like freshmen.
Right.
Since they were freshmen in high school.
Yeah.
But he was talking about, because I was like, dude, so like, did they promise you a car and stuff when you signed up? And this was actually like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, but they were like, I could be going here and like Japan and all this stuff. And he's like, then I ended up in Bellevue, Nebraska. And I'm just like, damn, bro, they fucked you on that.
Oh, Air Force. But yeah, I see the veterans, man. People like treat them like a protected class, but like, what are some other protected classes?
There's nothing should be a protected class as far as a profession because like African American people. I'm talking professions though.
I mean not even just profession.
Like nurses are a protected class. There's this whole thing about
he's right though. Like there's minorities that are protected classes that you supposedly can't like be saying something.
You can't say something against them. I hate the idea that if you're not a part of a group, you can't criticize the group. That annoys the shit out of me. That's ridiculous. And the thing is, like, and I feel like I have to say this certain thing because like we're going to say you can't say that people of color go through a certain thing and then just dismiss it because I don't agree with your opinion. That's just illogical.
Right.
But the thing is, people will say that, like Trump, for instance, he's not my favorite fucking person. I disagree with a lot of shit he says.
Right.
And people will say that he is the cause for a lot of growing hate groups, which is possible. I'm sure there's people who identify with him and they feel like, his message is, racist and all that shit. Of course, I'm sure. But at the same time, when I log on Twitter and see a white person getting beat up and see people of color celebrate it,
right?
I'm like, damn, dude. Like
people were blaming it on Trump, but racial tensions were never worse than under Obama.
No, they were.
Started.
There were a lot of people that were really pissed that there was a black guy that was president, and that's why. I think that's where you can look back to where it started, and then that drove the tension. I'm not saying Trump's helping. It was like, but the fire was already going. He just threw gasoline on it.
Yeah.
I mean, he does, like I said, I think a lot of the crap people say about Trump, well, not a lot, some of it is bullshit, but he does have some remarks that are Like,
him
come on,
talking,
man.
him saying all that dumb shit about like the Latin American people and
Oh,
like,
yeah,
the Mexicans
the
coming
rapists,
over.
yeah.
It's funny because I think if Trump would have been a little bit more supportive of like people immigrating from like Central and Mexico and everything like that, he would have had a really large voting group over on his side, man. Because most of the times you go and see like Mexican families and stuff, a lot of them like culturally are really like conservative. To be honest, like
Catholic and
Catholic. Well, not even just that.
The most racist people I have met are fucking Mexican, dude. Oh my god, dude! I get my Mexican homies be roasting me. I went to Millen North. I went to a bunch of white people, bro.
Right.
But dude, they be going in, bro. I was in a group chat with like my Mexican homies, bro, and they like it was literally like. The name of the chat was "I'm their slave, bro." Like, like for real, dude. And I'm just like, and then they'll be on Facebook talking about "fuck Donald Trump." I'm like, yo. Like,
I think that term racism though is so blanket across stuff. Like you saying like a joke like that between friends. That's
right.
Is that
That's
really
different.
racist?
No.
Because racism to me is something that is like. It's like hatred, man. Like a
right.
hatred based off of like the color of somebody's skin or like their nationality, their ethnicity, or something like
you
that.
You can't be joke police. Like I'll tell jokes to my friends, white friends, black friends. I mean, we'll make fun of everybody, right? But there's no hatred behind it. The second somebody starts talking about, I don't like you because you are this color.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's when I have a problem with it. But I mean, if you're fucking Daniel Tosh is gonna go up and tell a joke. I mean, who gives a shit, man? Obviously, he doesn't mean it.
Some
you can't
people
be joke police.
Being offended by it, I guess, is like your emotions about it are a powerful like driving factor. But like, say like us sitting here talking together about like you had said protected classes, Americans. If we sit up here and like me and Caleb, we'll talk about like problems that African American communities face in America. Are we going to be held? Are we going to be able to like have our opinions regarded as much as if you're here with us? It's crazy
and it's stupid because I was like talking to this girl one time and she was at a rally for like like I think sort of like something about promoting African American well-being, and there was a white woman talking. And she was like mad about it that there was a white woman talking about the problems. I'm like, but she's not racist.
Right.
She wants to spread ideologies that help.
Yeah, she's
people
talking about your
like.
plight.
Why are you dismissing it?
Right.
Yeah.
And then wonder why people don't want to fight for our cause when you don't even let them have an opinion.
Well, the thing that's super fucked up is you have these white liberals that scoff at the idea that Kanye West is pro-Trump.
Yeah.
Like you're basically just being like, well, you don't have the thoughts or you don't have the beliefs that I believe a black man in America should have. So you're crazy.
We can even talk about this in the black communities. You have like conservative views, or like you try to go towards conservative. They're going to dismiss you and call you white. Like,
exactly.
You're going to call like Uncle Tom, or like what some other stuff like that. Like the young stuff you probably shouldn't. I won't say it. but like say like you have the 14-year-old young like black kid that's trying that his ultimate goals in life is he wants to go to school and educate himself and everything, but then he's got his friends around him in the communities that he's in go like, man, you're trying to act white and stuff like that, and it's like, oh yeah, it's white to try to want to better yourself.
I had to, as Terry Coleman would say, it's that white people shit.
Yeah.
Oh no, and I heard that too. No, it's funny you said that. I had on my Facebook memories. I posted something today, or it was like my freshman year in high school. And some dude commented, one of the black dudes, he's like, you white, blah, blah, blah. You ain't even a nigga or some shit like that. And I commented and I was like, I'm white just because I speak educated and I don't do drugs. That was the post about. It was like this if you think I've never skipped school, drank or something. And this dude said I was white because I didn't smoke, skip school or drink. And I'm just like, dude. What?
Well, that's got to be ignorant because I know plenty of white people
that do all that shit.
Yeah, man. There's just as many white people doing that shit.
I had this friend in high school, and he was a black kid, and then another black kid told him he talked white. And he's like, no, like colors don't have a sound. He goes, I talk educated. He's like, the fact that you choose to talk like an idiot isn't my fault.
Yeah, like. Because when I was in the Army, man, I got a lot of black friends from different parts of America. There's there's 100% difference of a black guy from here in Omaha, Nebraska versus a black guy from Dallas, Texas versus a black dude from like friggin' Atlanta or Florida or something. Man, completely different in the ways that they talk. Right. So how are you going to try and tell me that there's a one specific way? Like that's just really boxing people in.
I think the problem is the thing that unifies a culture And that's the problem with having subcultures and so many subcultures. And under the thing that we call America is the biggest thing that binds us is language.
Right.
And there are so many different dialects, different ways to say things, different meanings. Then you get fucking like 350 million people and you're like, get along. And then it's like, understand each other. And it's really hard. And that's why I feel like, because my way of thinking is I'm aware of all those differences. So I have to be bare bones. And for some things, I have to be pretty concrete. And for other things, you have to be a little bit malleable, be willing to mold. And there are people, so you have the guy who might not speak educated.
Right.
And you have the guy who speaks educated.
Right.
And they try to talk and they miss the point.
Right.
And nothing can get fixed.
And that's not a race thing. I've talked to white people that talk like complete idiots.
Yeah, and then
like,
you just
fucking trailer
and
park.
then you can't figure it out. Like I saw a perfect example where a guy it was a black dude who went to the doctor, and all the other doctors and nurses were white, but one dude was black. Yeah. And they were sitting and talking to this dude, and they're telling this guy like he has a medical condition, like he needs to get help, and the guy just like doesn't care, and he's like, they're like, okay, like, what the fuck, like, and then the people weren't like really helping this dude, and so like the doctors almost seemed kind of racist in a way, and the black dude seemed like he doesn't care. But the African American dude who was part of the medical staff came up to him and he broke down because he's from both parts. He said he broke him down and told him in a way that he understood because they were just throwing medical jargon at him. Yeah. Right. And they were just saying like, dude, this is happening with this part of your body, and the dude just didn't understand. I wouldn't understand. And then that could be seen as what that leads to. That leads to African Americans getting not as good as treatment. Right. Because I'm sure some medical institutions are racist, but sometimes they're getting hit with terminology that they don't understand. Too, and the dude like was immediately concerned when he was explained it to in a way that he could. Yeah, find a way to get out of yourself, get away from your opinions, and be like, oh, all right.
Right. Communication, is really like just getting people together and communicating is like the key way to just make people get along, man. Like when me and my wife went on our honeymoon we went to LA, right? We were staying in this Airbnb right in the middle of fucking ghetto, dude. We were out in South Central LA, like 2 blocks away from USC. Yeah. And like, I mean, aside from the infrastructure kind of sucking, I was just like, I don't feel in danger or anything. And me and her went to this cafe, right? This because it was the like highest rated breakfast place in LA, right? Or one of them. And we walked in there, dude, and this was right across the street from a Baptist church. Like everyone's in there in their Sunday best, and then all you see is old me come in with my Mexican wife, and everyone just and we're standing like, what's up, guys? Yeah. Well, and we go and sit down, and man, that's some of the good breakfast. There's like some good ass fucking grits. You got some hash browns. And we were sitting there with bullshit with the people around us that were like, these guys got the stones to come in here. Fuck yeah, these people are cool, dude.
The fucking best chicken I've ever had is Timeout Chicken down on Lake. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I go down there, everybody just kind of looks at me. I'm like, dude, that's the best chicken I'm gonna get. I ain't gonna get this at Raising Cane's. Yeah. But I will say, I did see a guy with like South Dakota plates driving like a brand new Audi down there right before sundown. I was like, bro, you might want to find the interstate real quick.
I was out in fucking Elkhorn, which is like the rich part of Nebraska, and I'm like, dude, I'm still locking my door. Some motherfucker. Oh,
I'm gonna lock my door anyway.
I was out in Elkhorn the other day, and I was out with this girl I'm talking to, and we were driving around because I got off work late, so we're just like driving around. And she was her garage door up. I'm like,
absolutely not.
Bro, what are you doing? Like, we live out here. I'm like, so?
No. That's where people go to rob because that's where all the money's at.
Bitch, I'm going to steal your shovel to teach you a lesson.
I'm like, so now I know where to go. Like, okay, like, what the hell is wrong with me? I just, like, I don't get that. But, like, and I was telling you when I messaged you the other day, you were talking about Mr. Zoltan, which that shit was super dope. And I'm low-key transhumanist, by the way, and I've been for a minute. Yeah. I just didn't realize it. But I feel like a philosopher, not through intellect, because I'm not like Descartes doing math and shit and all this dualism and stuff. That's crazy. But I think the philosopher's mind is good at removing their own morals and beliefs from themselves. Because like I have a friend right now. He really doesn't like this girl because like she made fun of him a little bit too much. Like one time. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, I've been roasted, my guy. I've been like scorched through earth and fire, my dude. And I dap these people up, and it's like just because I can see like like I'm a black kid, right? I was thrown with a bunch of white people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I heard black jokes. Yes,
right.
Of course I heard black jokes. And the thing is, and my parents were talking to me about this the other day, is like, was I bullied? As a black kid that went to a mostly white school, was I bullied? And, you know, I had to think about that. And to me, in some cases, because some people really do get it hard, like, give me your fucking lunch money, like, motherfucker. Like, that is some hardcore bullying.
Right.
But I think for me, it could have gone either way. I think I just had the mentality where it didn't get to me. Because there's things I noticed, right? So, yeah, this kid might make a black joke. And usually it wasn't like, most of the time people weren't going around calling me nigger and stuff. Like, that did happen. But, like, that was not, you know, common.
Right.
But I noticed, I'm like, okay, this kid told me a black joke. All right. I can tell a white joke because fuck you. Like, okay, I can tell jokes too. All right, cool.
You gotta. If you can dish it, you gotta be taking it too.
Right.
But I'm the type of person, I'm gonna watch how you maneuver in all ways, you know, because like, I understand people joke. I say fucked up shit too, you know. I'm so that's why I don't just hate on people for telling jokes. But at the same time, and a lot of people would be like, oh, these kids are telling black jokes, you know, they're racist, blah blah blah. But I noticed there was another kid, black kid named Josh. I don't know if he was on the spectrum or something. He might have like had autism. I'm not sure, but he was a really socially awkward kid.
Right.
So the same kids who are telling black jokes to me, you know, someone who's I can talk, you know, I can handle it. They're not telling it to this kid over here. Now this kid's sitting over by himself at the lunch table, and they invite him. They're like, "Hey, you can come eat with us." They don't tell any black jokes or anything. They just make them feel like, "How you doing?" You know. So I feel like since I don't subscribe to the idea if you just tell a black joke, you're racist. You know, I could have missed out on friends because if they were truly racist, why would they care that this one black kid is sitting by himself?
Right.
And want to make him feel wanted.
I think they would just exclude you.
I think that's just how guys are in groups of guy friends. Guys, man, it doesn't matter what race you are, anything about you, you will fucking roast on your
roast the shit out of each other.
Honestly, like getting roasted on and getting told jokes and stuff like that is almost like somebody being comfortable enough with you to know that this guy's probably going to be cool about it.
If I'm going to give you shit, that means I'm comfortable around.
Yeah, there's jokes I mean, there's a difference between saying jokes though, and I think this is where that gray line is where people won't know what jokes are and what just like saying an off color like some racist ass shit, right? So like saying like a Mexican joke or something like that, like joking around. I'll always say joking around that like Mexican girls fucking love Takis and hot Cheetos, man. That's something that everybody
crazy.
Well, that's
your wife crazy. Watches this show. So
all women are bro. Don't get that mixed up. All women are crazy, but all women are crazy. But
that's true.
But like saying something like that though, right? Like Mexican girls love themselves some hot Cheetos. That's something that people can fucking laugh about. That's not. There's no hatred.
Yeah, there's not. Yeah.
But if someone is gonna sit there and like say some shit like, oh, there's this fucking Mexican guy hanging out at the party, let me call the cops on him because he desire, you know, he doesn't have his citizenship. It's like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? How is that? That's not a joke. It's not funny.
And I express my views, and like my family would be like, "Oh, how can not my family, but some of people like, how can you think this way? Like, no, you're just like Uncle Tom, blah blah blah."
Right.
But like the thing is, I don't tolerate that bullshit on any side.
No,
not like I've been to a party and this dude called his friend a nigger. He wasn't even white. I don't know. Like, I'm like, why the fuck you say that? But I got in this dude's face. I'm like, bro, you don't say that. Like, say that one more time, dude. I dare you to say that shit one more time. Right. Bro. And like, I stand up for injustice on both sides, dude.
Yeah.
And people will talk shit because like I would like, dude, that you shouldn't have did that to that white person. That was kind of fucked up. Like, what? They did this to us. I'm like, bro, like, two wrongs don't make it right. Like, and people get mad at me for being equal because I'm all about equality and I practice what I preach. And people just don't want to practice what they preach.
That's one thing, though, like, people will try and say about white people. It's like, bro, you know, like most of the what is it? Like only 4% of like the people in America can trace back their family to like having slaves. Back in the day.
Well, my family wasn't even here.
Yeah, my family.
Exactly.
People try and like blanket white people into just one ethnic group, but that's not true. Like my family were poor Germans in the 40s that came here because of the Nazis, man. Like my family did not own slaves. We were too fucking poor. No.
Yeah, he's a Nazi.
But so,
Makes the Nazi confirmed.
But that what I'm saying is like it's really easy for people to blanket every people. Like that's why I try to not say just African American because dude, there's like Jamaicans over here that aren't African. They're Jamaican, dude, but they're black, and you can't tell that they're African or not. Or like even look at Cardi B. She's from the Dominican Republic, dude. She's not African American. She's black, but she's not African American.
There was a case for this girl. She was from Africa and she was white, and she was applying for a scholarship, and it said like African American. And she didn't get it. And it was just like this big deal because she was like from Africa. And she like came to America, and it was just like, and I forgot what class we were talking about it, but like race is really only really big in like I think American countries or like maybe like European countries too. But a lot of places, race is just like not even a thing.
Well, when people try to throw the crime stats and everything, a lot of these European countries, they're like 90% white. Like there's no other country that's this type of experiment we're doing with. I mean, it's never been done before with the diversity. And I mean, I think it's a positive thing. There are negatives that come from it, like the race relation problems we have right now.
Yeah, but look at all the like music and art
absolutely
and movies.
Fuck yeah, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
I don't think there's any part of the world right now that's is culturally impacted globally as America has been, right? Because all of us people that come together.
Exactly.
And like look, like if we never would have had all of the Asian people come into America, we have had all these fucking bomb ass like movie like kung fu movies,
right? Like, dude, I heard it when
anime
when they collaborate. Like you mix John Wick, you got Keanu Reeves.
Yeah,
dude, I heard a song with Royce the 5'9" and Travis Barker from Blink 182.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that's not fucking multiculturalism.
But now some people are getting like offended by that.
By
like,
what?
Like mixing.
Oh yeah, like white people with dreadlocks.
Yeah, I don't get.
Which traces back to Ireland, actually.
Yeah, there was Celtic
like,
people in the 10, 1000 AD that fucking had dreadlocks.
Why don't we just share ideas?
That's like last time I thought America was supposed to be a melting pot.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine someone telling me I could wear something or like make some Celtic music. Fuck, if I want to start yodeling, I'm gonna fucking start yodeling.
Yeah, dude.
Bagpipes in your neck.
Shit. Imagine people telling you that you couldn't enjoy beer if you weren't from like the Middle East.
No.
Where people in Sumer invented beer. Like, bro, get the fuck out of here. Like,
right.
I'm like, a lot of the shit that we have and enjoy, we all got from somewhere else.
Absolutely, everything. Like your shirt was made in China. Your lunch was Italian food. You know, it's like, I mean. But the craziest thing is it's horseshoe theory because these people, the far right, like racist, white separatist extremists, and then the far left, like social justice warrior types, they want the races to stick apart from each other. Mm-hmm. So they're like, you have the white separatists are like, well, white people or black people should just stick to themselves. And you have the social justice warriors. Yeah. You got a white guy listening to rap music or has dreadlocks or whatever. Well, why don't white people just stick to their own culture? It's like you guys are way more alike than you're letting on.
Yeah, I won't be ignorant and say that there is not systematic racism.
Oh, absolutely, there always has been.
And it's for everybody, right? And what we have to do is like we have to point that out, and everybody has to come together to be like, yeah, that's bullshit.
Right?
Don't have that kind of stuff. And I think for the most part, most people do. Like.
Right.
I think we can all agree that when the news comes out that Harvard is telling Asian American or Asian people that they can't go to school because there's too many Asian people in Harvard, everybody's going to come together and say that's fucking bullshit, dude. Yeah. Well, and then when you see like the crime statistics of the like police officers like in the communities where they're there's an amount or like a too high of amount according to population, everything like too many percentage of like black kids or something that get gunned down in like these communities. I think for the most part, people don't like that kind of stuff. They're like, man, that shouldn't happen.
Well, and people point to like crime statistics in the black community, and they are correct that they are higher, but they don't ask why are they higher. Exactly. If you look at the fact that the U.S. government, I mean, is purposely sent poor education, kept them down for how many years? I mean, they distributed fucking crack to the inner cities. Like that started from the government.
And
like that was the Iran-Contra thing. And then the U.S. government's on the record doing that.
Point out too that the disparity of like fathers not being present in
that's
those situations, man. Like I wholeheartly know I take it for granted.
Absolutely.
That I had like two really strong male role models growing up in my life. Like, dude, you had your dad.
I did. I had my mom, and I have my dad and my mom. My mom, she got her shit. And that's the thing. People don't ask why.
Yes.
And that is the reason why they don't get fixed, because I think the problem is, and we get a lot of our experience, unfortunately, through entertainment outlets like video games, TV shows, and movies.
Yeah. Right.
And so if you're a white person and only the real experience you have with black people through the entertainment, which is typically, and it's shifting now. That's why I think it's gonna die down. Right. But especially in the past, if your only experience with them is like Boys in the Hood, And like, you said you're in fucking South Central. Like, fuck, you gonna think everyone like that is just fucking out here.
Right.
It wasn't that
Shooting
bad.
each other.
I felt perfectly comfortable walking around. I hit up some like little pockets of some dank shit. I was like, "Woo, man, that's some dank stuff." But that was about it.
But you're not like an ignorant person.
No.
So like you're not gonna deprive yourself of that experience just because you understand that and since you did experience that, because hindsight's 2020, like that is something that you can look on again when you want to go into another area like that. As far as to someone who's never taken that step, they're going to be more apprehensive towards that. And it annoys me on that end, and the same time with the people who are in the community, because at the same time, like I understand it's really hard to be successful when you don't have all the avenues to success. Like, like strong role models, easy, like good education.
Yeah.
Because like I was talking to a girl who went to like South when I was in high school, and we were both in the same grade. And dude, I swear she was doing math. I was doing fucking 8th grade. I was like, this shit's crazy. I was like, really? You're just now doing this, a senior in high school? But then, like, again, it all boils down to communication. Like, people, if they could understand, like, wow, maybe, and I feel like it's really easy to understand the plight of, the disenfranchised, obviously, because a lot of people think when I say I understand why someone is racist, they think I agree with it. And there's a difference between understanding and agreeing.
Right,
obviously.
absolutely.
And obviously, I'm going to sympathize with more of the disenfranchised because they're getting hurt. But at the same time, the disenfranchised needs to understand why some other people are disenfranchising them, because there are some sadistic people who really just want to keep people down.
Absolutely.
But to me, there's levels to these bezels. There's different types of racism. There's people who are racist and super ignorant, and they just want to hate you because they're just that way.
I think if you can point out to specific instances of systemic or individual racism,
like
most
the Tuskegee experiments.
Most people will say, "Yeah, I don't like that." Like, say you look at like Bank of New York Mellon doing the mud people loans. I would be hard pressed to find somebody in this day and age that's going to go, "Yeah, it's not that bad."
Right.
Yeah. So what people get like irritated with is when people be general. They just make these blanket terms for everything.
Yeah. So many of those.
I think non-determinism is a big thing, and actually, I didn't know what it was until Zach told me what it was like 2 weeks ago. Non-determinism. I'm not going to go into detail. There were factors that you could excuse me being a piece of shit. Like if I turned out to be a piece of shit after the way I grew up, you could excuse it. But I think there's, especially at least in America, I mean, maybe like third world countries is different, but in America, your surroundings shouldn't really determine the person you become. I mean, anyone can go to a library and get on the internet and apply for a job, apply for student loans to go to college. It's easy to better yourself. The avenues are there. It's just a matter of whether you're going to take advantage of it or not. I think, and just say fuck those negative influences.
There's certain things that would go to, like, say somebody, like definitely somebody being able to push you to go to do that stuff.
Right. It helps. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of stuff that a lot of people lack, because I mean, there's some lazy motherfuckers out there that would just, or just some people in general that just would have benefited so much from somebody basically going like, "No, man, you're being dumb. Go do this."
That's the problem with being surrounded by like-minded people, and I noticed that because I'm one of those people who I affiliate myself with different types of people.
Absolutely,
and it's I love to see like I went to Millard North. I see my friends who went to Millard North, and the type of shit they share is much different than the type of shit like my friends who went to other schools went. Like one person be like, "Oh, I'm stressed out because I had to do this today. Like I had to study or work," and other person be like, "Oh, I haven't done meth today. Bet you can't steal this post." And it's like the different ambitions that show. And then I try to talk to someone who's, maybe in who are surrounded by people who don't really motivate them. Right. And I try to push them, but it's hard when you're that only person. Cause I'd be like, "Hey bro, like maybe you shouldn't buy those shoes and you should save up and buy this." And they'd be like, "Oh yeah, you're right." But then they have like fucking 10 other homies to be like, "Hey bro, you should get those shoes."
Yeah, those shoes are cool.
And and it's tough. Like when, like you're just surrounded by I think his name Philip Lombardo or Zimbardo. He did an experiment.
Oh yeah, Zimbardo.
He did the prison experiment.
Yeah, Zimbardo,
when you fill the roles, and like now, like certain areas now, you just are born to fill a role.
Right.
So like the kids, like they might be white, but they're born middle class, and they're gonna fill this middle class role.
Right.
And a person who's African American who was born in that role is probably gonna fill it too. If anything, it's more of like a class thing, because class stratification. Like usually if you're born in a certain class, you're usually going to stick in it.
Which is
typically.
That's what Kanye says, is that classism is the new racism. It's more about, where you were born.
A lot of people don't even know what classism is.
No.
Dude, that's a problem. And more people are so focused on these isms that like aren't as prevalent as like man, I could be in public and be like, haha, fuck poor people, dude, they're annoying, and nobody would care about it. Yeah, no, that's not going to make somebody lose their job. Is when you say something like that.
It depends how far. Well, that's the thing is like when it comes down to it, you had a 1 in a billion chance of being put on this earth. So it's like embrace the fact that you weren't supposed to be fucking average and go do something,
or the fact that you weren't supposed to be a meth head.
Or that's not even average. That's just
that you weren't supposed to be a crackhead, or
right?
Like,
exactly. And there's too many people that hold there's too many people that hold you back, like toxic people. And sometimes those people are the people that are closest to you. And that's the hardest person to cut out.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's certainly people that were very important in my life fucking a year ago that aren't there. I wouldn't be doing this show if they were still in my life. So sometimes you got to add by subtraction.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're out of time.
Yep, that is going to be
Thank you so fucking much. Plug your music one more time.
Name's Dion Cobbs, DionCobbs. I have a Facebook page. We just got a social media guy, so we're going to be updating that pretty soon.
Look for the stuff this guy is coming out with.
It's going to be crazy.
You'll be able to be like, man, I was listening to Dion Cobbs back in the day before.
And I'm honored to be on here. I know this is going to be a super big company. Hopefully, we can do this, another time.
Yeah, I'd love to have you back on.
This is a great experience.
Absolutely. So, definitely. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%. Big Bill Media. Make sure to go throw a like on Facebook page, YouTube. We're out there on all the platforms.